Welcome back, fellow gamers. We have for you today part 1 of a new series that I'm going to be doing called Magic Basics, where if you are new to Magic the Gathering, this will help walk you through a lot of the aspects on how to learn, how to get into playing the game, what these cards are all about, and guide you through that whole process. So this is 100% geared towards new players or players that are coming back into the game that want to get refreshed. If you're a pro or you play constantly, this won't be of any help to you, but do feel free to share this video with people that you're trying to get into the game and just go along with the whole process of learning with them. All right, so without further ado, this video we're going to be focusing on the components of a card. So we'll look at a few cards and I'll break down the components, what they are, what they do, what they mean. We're going to make this nice and easy, so let's get to it. So here are some cards that are up on screen right now. On the top, we're going to go from the top down. We'll tell you what type of mana you need to cast. Again, we'll get onto casting creatures, spells, and all sorts of things later on in another video, but those are what the symbols at the right mean, and the top bar is also accompanied with the card name. And the symbols on the card are important because it tells you exactly how much you're paying in order to be able to play this card. The colors are representative of the lands. The number beside it is representative of generic mana. And in some cases you can have another type of mana that is present, but these here you don't really see that often. And if you notice for lands, there's not a single mana symbol on the top right of the card, and that's because the lands don't cost any mana. Moving down the card, we have that big box with beautiful art. So this is just the art. It really doesn't make a difference on really what appears here. Cards that do get reprinted sometimes have different art. The art here is purely for aesthetics value. And then we go on to the type line. So the type line is what kind of card it is, and if it's a creature card, what additional properties does this card have. And on the right side of the card is the set expansion symbol. So it'll tell you what set this was printed out of or what supplementary product it came from. There aren't really many instances where you will care about that. That was something that in the early days of Magic they did toy around with. But if you're getting into the game now, you don't really need to worry about set symbol. It's really to let you know how rare a card is when you're pulling it from a pack. So moving back to the left side of the card, we have, like I mentioned, a card type. So we have things like creatures, enchantments, planeswalkers, instances, sorceries, and so on and so forth. There are some variations where some cards might be legendary, other cards might have a tribal super type. These aren't things that you really need to worry about. You just need to worry about if you want to cast something that's a creature, it says creature on it. Then you have the text box. So the text box will, in most instances, include rules that are pertinent to that card. Also reminder text saying like, hey, don't forget about this rule that takes effect when you have this keyword. And then the type font that is italicized is what is called the flavor text. This is purely just to immerse you into the lore of Magic. It really doesn't have an effect on the game whatsoever. It's just a nice little added touch to add some flavor to the game that you're playing. Then we get to the bottom right hand side of the card. So you'll notice on creature cards, you'll have a set of numbers, and that's representative of the power and toughness of a card. Cards that are not creatures will not have that box, with the exception of planeswalkers. Planeswalkers will have that number indicative of a loyalty count. Now, again, I will get into what that means in a video dedicated to planeswalkers. So, and then underneath that in the border, you have some white text. That just indicates some details about the card. The two numbers that you see, so like let's say 122 out of 279, that would be the collector number of the card in that set. Underneath that, you have a 3-letter code and then a 2-letter code. That's the set it comes from and the language that it appears in. And then finally, right to the right of that is the artist credit. So who created this masterfully beautiful work of art? On the right hand side, you have, kind of that trademark line. And if your card is a rare card or a mythic rare, you will have a holo stamp, and that's there just as a safety measure so that people don't replicate these cards to perfection. This really isn't a situation and isn't a problem for newer cards. It's more for older cards. Unfortunately, older cards don't have anything that I just mentioned. They had moved some of the stuff around. They didn't have the set details. They didn't have the collector number, but they did have artist credit. So that's one thing that depending on what card you get, you might not see it the same. Magic does change their frames from time to time. So the cards that are on screen are pretty representative of the current cards that come out these days. I wanted to highlight every aspect of a card because going forward I will talk about certain cards, how they work, how to play the game. So keep an eye out for that, and if you're watching this sometime in the future, you can click in the top right corner where we will have other videos as a part of this series. I hope this was a help to you. If you need any other questions, don't hesitate to let me know in the comments. Certainly help you out whichever way I can in order to be able to get you immersed in this awesome game. I'd like to thank you for making me a part of your day, and until next time, good gaming.